Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Monsters at Work. This is a series based, of course, on the Monsters Inc. films, Monsters Inc., Monsters University, and this is so far one season, started in 2021, and it tells. It doesn't really focus on Mike and Sully, even though they are prominently in at least the pilot. I think they're in every episode. They're kind of recurring characters, even though it looks like so far that they are not the central characters of the story. Um, who is the center of this is a guy named Tyler. He has just he's been going to school forever. He's getting top marks for scaring. He is just kicking butt, and he by the time he takes his final test, he's already been accepted into Monsters Inc. Graduated, and just he's usually it doesn't go so easily as for everybody else, but he just got accepted right off the bat because he's that good. Unfortunately, you know what happened at the end of the first Monsters Inc. film? Monsters University was a prequel that happened before, but at the end of the Monsters Inc. film, well, they changed things from scaring kids to making them laugh, which had a much better ability to create energy for the monsters in the monster world. Well, so Tyler shows up at Monsters Inc. to find they're just changing everything, and his position is useless. His skills are useless. So, he doesn't really know what he's supposed to do there. He meets up with Mike and Sully at one point. He also meets a really weird band of misfits, played by Mindy Kaling from The Office. Henry Winkler is kind of the boss, the head of that department. He's the Fonz. He's from Arrested Development, also on Barry on HBO right now, one of my favorite shows. And Lucas Neff, he plays Duncan. He is a weird rival to Tyler, even though Tyler has no desire for a rival. But he used to be on a show called Raising Hope that I really liked. It was really funny. But Billy Crystal and John Goodman are back as Mike and Sully. There are so many other voices in this. Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus, makes an appearance in the first episode. Jennifer Tilly, of course, is returned. Bob Peterson, of course, is doing Roz, and her sister Rose. Um, so yeah, there's a ton of voices. Bonnie Hunt is in this. So yeah, there's just a ton of voices in this, and it's a workplace comedy. It's like kind of like The Office, but we get Ben Feldman playing Tyler. And if you know who Ben Feldman is, if you ever watched Superstore, he plays Jonah. He was one of the main characters on Superstore, so he's quite familiar with the workplace comedy concept. It's in this. It's just it's Tyler trying to fit in, trying to learn comedy instead of scaring. He's pivoting. He's repositioning what he can do, and it's either that or just belong to the maintenance team, MIFT, about Monsters Inc. Something with an F team. It's probably very, very obvious that I'm just not getting together right now in my head. Anyway, it's funny. It's got an interesting concept I wasn't really expecting. But I mean, I love the fact that it does continue the story. They could have made Monsters Inc. 3, which would have probably been this, and probably could have misfired if they try to jam it all into less than 2 hours of a story and still try to make Goodman and Crystal the main characters. They definitely have a new position at Monsters Inc. because they are the reason why everything has changed. Their interactions with Boo and everything else has changed everything. So that's it's something that everybody has to work out. So I only watched one episode. I figured that's enough to get the gist of it to be able to talk about it. I am actually going to add this to my list. I've had I've been wanting to watch this since it premiered, but I realized I'm doing this thing. I'm sure it'll come up sooner or later. Well, here we are, over a year later, and I've only just started watching it. So, yeah, I'm gonna watch the rest of the 9 episodes. Hopefully, they do a second season. I don't know if that is the case so far, but I have a feeling that it is. We've got a full story arc, at least in the first season, dealing with Tyler and his future at Monsters Inc. And I think the series concept, it lends itself much better to being able to explore these new characters rather than, hey, look, we introduced Tyler in a movie and he lots of craziness happens and people be like, oh, what about Mike and Sully? You know, this is Monsters Inc. The Next Generation. I mean, literally, because it's no longer about scaring; it's about laughter. So, yeah, it's good. I know that sounds very convincing, but no, I enjoyed it. I think I'm going to enjoy it as it goes on because I really love the cast. And the only thing I noticed is the animation quality isn't as intense. Let's just say, you know how Sully is really hairy, and his hair, just how they animate the hair, is so good. He doesn't look as intimidating. I mean, he doesn't look as big anymore. He looks more like the model of Sully from Monsters University, where he was younger and smaller. He doesn't look as big as he did in Monsters Inc. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I don't. I just think I don't know if it's the rendering is different or what it is, but I don't think the animation is. It's never going to be feature film quality. It just isn't going to be that. But they do it as best they can on the budget of a TV series for on Disney Plus. It's exclusive to Disney Plus. You can't see it anywhere else. So yeah, give it a shot if you're not too picky about the animation. It's still amazing animation, 10 times better than anything else that's on its level on other streaming networks. But yeah, it's got we're all in a whole new world, not in a sense, a whole new set of jobs and a whole new set of cast of characters, and it's looks like some good monstery fun. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
167.
167. Can we get something that's not a movie? I mean, that is a movie? Oh, we did. We got a movie. We've only been getting documentaries and shorts, and like this today was our second series since we saw Iron Man. Like, was it 2 weeks ago? It seems forever ago. But here, this is definitely a movie, and it's not a Disney movie. I think they brought it over from 20th Century Fox, and yeah, we're getting there's like two of these, at least two of these, but at least we're starting with the first one, ladies and gentlemen. Garfield, and I'm pretty sure it's Bill Murray as Garfield, or it's Lorenzo Music. I don't know, but or is that Heathcliff? I don't know. I'm confused. Either way, we're watching Garfield next in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.